Some other CAD programs that exist out there. This is like my 5th CAD program. So SolidWorks and Inventor are basically 3D making stuff. You have objects that you can make. Those are used much more in a professional environment. Inventor, we have free professional Inventor through the school. And again, those are much more like making 3D things, kind of like Tinkercad, but you have a lot more things you can do. Another popular one used in engineering is AutoCAD, also through Autodesk. And that is much more 2D and dimensional drawings, which, you know, your dimensions on your drawing, that's just as important. So that's more drafting focused. The other things I've used, and we will probably have a thing over another workshop over this, is OpenSCAD, which is also free to download, and it is the programmer's CAD choice. So you basically program your stuff and you get 3D objects. I've used that for research before. And then the thing that I'm currently using for research is called Rhino 3D and Grasshopper. That gets you a 90-day free trial. And that is more used for architects and weird programming things, doing parametric stuff. It's weird. I don't know. I know a lot more about Grasshopper, not about Rhino. Okay, so this, we'll like to interact with this. We'll be interactive, kind of start. Okay, cool. Welcome to today. Like I said, we're going over Tinkercad. In your browser, you can just look up Tinkercad, completely free to use, and make an account. So if everybody's good with that, we are going to continue. You're going to open up a new thing, a new 3D design, not a new circuit because we're not making circuits. So the first thing you've got going on here is your work plane. And we're viewing this at like a perspective-y angle, which I don't like right now. So we're going to change that. We are going to come down here, click this button to go to flat view from orthographic. Now we've got this little cube up here and we can change our perspective. Fantastic. Tinkercad, free to use, cool. We're on here. We just switched from orthographic view to flat view down there because I don't like orthographic view. So the first thing we're going to do, this is our work plane. We are going to grab a ruler tool and we are going to stick it on one of the bold lines here. This ruler tool on like a corner of a bold line. You might have to zoom in to actually get it on a bold line. The ruler tool just allows you to dimension or set things kind of where you want to and actually be able to set those dimensions how you want or place things how you want. Cool. We are now going to, so on the right side of your screen, there are shapes that you can grab and drop over, which is really simple. So we are going to click and drag over a box. And we are going to place it at our corner. And we are going to scale up our corner to 40 by 40. So to scale things, we've got these blue lines. The blue lines are going to let us scale 40 and 40. Fantastic. Now these blue lines are based on the ruler. So if I rotated my shape right now, like the blue lines would change, like the length and height would change based on the 90-degree ruler I put in place. Very quickly, I don't know how, I guess you can't see this. That's a pretty laptop up here. Well, that's their own problem. For anybody who's not on Zoom, if there's anybody in here, we'll leave Zoom out. We've got some dimension drawings. Basically, dimension drawings just show you your dimensions. So these are examples, and it is roughly what we are showing them off on. Great. So we're making a heart. So we've got some dimensions on our heart. Normally you have a top, right, and a front view. I'm lazy and I didn't want to draw the front view because it looks like the right view. Normally you would though. Be a good engineer and do that. And this is also the one for the lid. That's my hit you. Sorry. Okay, so we dimensioned this as we wanted in our dimension drawing. Now, to make our heart, we are going to grab a circle, and we are also going to give it a radius of 40 and 40. Again, according to blue things, because that is based off of that. Now, we've also got these green lines. Green lines. Now, these green lines are our placement lines. It's where this thing is being placed. Our circle is being placed in relation to this black circle at the tip of our ruler. Now it's red. We can also change it to be endpoint based or midpoint based, or this is currently endpoint based. We can set it to be midpoint based. We're going to use endpoint right now. So I could just click and drag this around, but that would be lame and inexact. We like exactness. So we want the end, the very end right here of our circle to be aligned with this, to be aligned with our y-axis. So we are just going to make the dimension there 0. Now it's moved over. Wow. And then we would like this to be sitting at the middle of what we want is for this midline of our circle, to sit on the edge of our 40 height rectangle. So if we want this bottom edge of our circle to be sitting down, we want it sitting down. So we are going to divide 40 by 2 to get the midline of our square, because that's where we want it. So that's 20. Fantastic. We are partway there. Now we are going to click on our fancy little circle, and we are going to hit Control D. Control D duplicates. You can't see it now, but we click it and drag, and now you can see it. So we are also going to adjust these. Again, we want the bottom of our circle to be aligned with the lower x-axis. So we are going to set that to 0. Or sorry, not that one. The height here, 0. Which one? Right, there we go. 0 there. And same thing here. We want the middle of our circle to be aligned with the top of our triangle. So we want the bottom of our circle to be aligned with the midline of our square. So we are going to insert 20 because that is 40 divided by 2. That was the radius. Fantastic. Now, we are going to click your left button on your mouse, or you can do Shift and click each of these shapes. And up here in the top right, below this information that you keep very annoyingly getting up, we are going to hit Group or a union. A lot of other programs will call something like this a union. And now they're all merged into one shape. On that note, now we can see that our dimensions are for the entire shape. It is 60 by 60. Great. Now we need a box. I want to cut out on my thing. So another way that we can duplicate our thing is, surprise, surprise, Control C, Control V. Control V will always put your object slightly away. Now, we want this to be slightly smaller. That way, like, we need to have a little bit of a wall around our box. We are making a box. There we go. We want a little bit of a wall. I forgot that I only shared one screen. Zoom. Sorry. So we are going to make these slightly smaller. How much smaller? Oh, wait, hold on. I skipped a step. I have my steps in here. So to delete, you can just click it and hit delete, because we're going to delete that one. I'm going to scale this up to 100 by 100. Fantastic. Now my heart's 100 by 100. And now I am going to
Control copy and paste or Control D this heart. Great, I do in fact have 2 hearts. Cool. So now I'm going to scale this one down to 92 by 92. That way I just have a little bit of an edge. It's a little bit smaller because this we are going to cut out. Okay. Now we are going to right click on your mouse and we can reorient. Wow. Or you can also move your little focus cube. So we're going to go into our front view, or we can go up a little bit. And we are going to change the height of both of these. I want this inner one to be 50 high. And this is in millimeters. I'm going to set this one to be, how high did I want? 38. Now, why did I choose 38? Oh, sorry, wrong one. Click on that one. Change that 20 to a 38. On the blue lines, otherwise, if you do the green lines, you're going to be changing position. Now, why did I choose 38? Fantastic question, I'm happy you asked. So I want my hole to be 35 millimeters deep. I think we're in millimeters. So why did I choose 38? Now, normally when you're doing unions in something like OpenSCAD or in Tinkercad, you want to have a little bit sticking up on whatever hole you're doing. And we'll see that in a second. That way, just when it does the union, there's no second guess and you don't end up with some weird super thin layer that your printer is printing out. So now I am going to go ahead and center this. Actually, sorry, let me change the color first. We're going to make this a green so I can see the difference. So we are going to select both of these. Again, shift and click on both of them or just left drag and you can select them. Now up here next to our ungroup button, there is an align button. Now we have all these fancy little dots and we can choose them and we can see how we think it's going to align. Actually kind of hate all these options. That was not how I want to do it. Okay, maybe we won't align it. I know how I want it to move. We are going to move the green heart 3 inches away from the tip, or 3 millimeters, sorry, millimeters. Now it is basically centered. If you completely center it, you're going to end up with some funky thin walls because a heart's a really funky, weird shape. Now we are going to come down here. We're going to change our view into like a top front-ish view. And we've got this 0 hanging out over here. I want to be able to see that 0. This 0 is our Z direction. Z, if you know your 3D coordinate plane, you've got your X, your Y, or I guess we go X, Y, Z is sticking up. If you've ever seen your right hand rule, Z. So we are going to change this to, I want it up to 15. And now, ta-da, we have a little bit of a gap. That way, when we do our hole on it, it all works out nice and pretty. Now, we've been seeing this hole button by the color button. So if you click on your green heart or whatever color you made it, you can click hole. Now, that's not an actual hole yet. It's still just in there representing it. We're going to select both of them. On Tinkercad, very quickly, when you left click and drag, you don't have to select the whole thing. Not the whole thing has to be in your lasso, only a part of it, which is actually incredibly annoying because sometimes I want to be more specific with what I'm dragging and clicking. AutoCAD's very nice on that. And now we are going to group them. So when you group a solid object with a hole, it does a difference. So when I click group, it's got a hole in it. So now on here, these are hidden lines on my dimension drawing. Dashed lines on a dimension drawing are something that's hidden. You can't necessarily see them. So if this was all covered up, really easily. So now we have that part done. We've got our hole in our box done. Actually, hold on. I may have skipped a step. We're going ungroup. I'm going to teach you about ungrouping because I slightly skipped a step. Ungroup button is right next to the group button. And then I'm going to change the color of this because I actually wanted to use this for something and I kind of forgot. Great. We changed the color. So now we're back a step. But don't worry about it. We are going to select all of this. We are going to hit Control D. We're going to move the thing that we had a little bit away. Yay. And now we are going to take this and group it, the new thing that we made. Or no, sorry, I don't want to group it yet. I need to actually look at my notes instead of just winging this completely. We are going to change the height. Now we are making a lid. I should state that. We are currently making a lid for our box. That is why I copied it over, because I want exactly the same dimensions on it. So now we are going to make this a lot shorter. We are going to make the bottom part, this part that I have in red here, 5 inches tall, or 5 millimeters tall. 5. And we're going to select the green inner part, and we are going to make it a total of 7 tall. 7 tall. Great. So now it sticks out. So now when you put on the lid, it doesn't jiggle around. Like on a box, you just have a little bit sticking in, so it doesn't jiggle. And I also want to move this up. So we have this little green part, or you might have a little 0 hanging out there. And we are going to change that to 1. So it is 1 millimeter off the ground. Fantastic. Now, our thing's a total of 8 millimeters tall. And I am going to group these 2 sections. Grouped. Once the last object chosen is the one that's going to be the color, but this is not really how you choose color on a 3D printer, so the color is just kind of for your own. Now we need to rotate this. I'm going to hide this. Oh wait, no, I'm not. I lied. I don't want to hide it. So now we've got this little button over here. It looks like an arching arrow. Somewhere you've got a little arching arrow. And I just want to rotate it. And we are going to rotate. So if you click it somewhere, the angle will show up. If we just start clicking and dragging, there we go. I want you to be -1. I guess I don't need the negative. Great. Now, we've got a lid. We're going to add some stuff to this lid, but we're going to jump over to our box. And we are going to do what we did again earlier, very quickly. Click on the green, make it a hole, select both of them, and group them. Great. Now, I'll give everybody a second. Wait, do that. Now, we are going to select the heart box. Selected. And we are going to hit this either Control H, or we are going to go up here and where it says shape and hit this little light bulb. Light bulbs normally tell you if a layer is on or off. Like in AutoCAD, that means layer on or off. I hit it. It still exists. If I hit Control H, or sorry, if I hit the light bulb, it should come back. I just hit it for now. Why did I hide it? Because I want to stick this heart at this point. Because I would like to use my dimensions, and these dimensions on the ruler kind of are like constraints in other programs as well. So a lot of programs use something called constraints, and this is kind of like a constraint. So we are going to orient this. You can take your little draggy thing right here, left click it, and drag it around to probably -90. It depends on which way you placed it. And so this is where it's like constraints. We got this green thing. The distance away we want is 0. distance away we want from the corner, 0. Fantastic. Okay, text. On your right-hand bar of all your information, there's text. We are going to click it and we are going to drag it. We want the angle from our twisty angle thing right there. If we click on it to be 45. And I'm honestly just going to drag this into place. Now there was a little thing that I was going to make on this, a little handle that I was going to make, but I don't want to. It's annoying for just something so small. Now you have a little text thing that opens up. You have to just delete it and hit whatever you want. But in honor of Valentine's Day, we're going to do this. Fantastic. Let me change the color so I can actually see it. Great. Now our text is too big, but we can make it smaller. So these blue things, or sorry, the black dimension things on our dimension block changes 1 dimension at a time. And the white ones change 2 dimensions at a time. However, it is not like nicely in sync. You can change the dimensions however you want, which is a major gripe of mine. And so we are just going to shrink that down a little bit, and we are going to move it to wherever we want. We don't have to be exact. Okay, so with that selected, this thing, these letters are 10 inches tall, and that's absurd. We don't need 10-inch tall letters. We are going to make our letters 7 inches tall. Wait. No, I lied. We are going to make them 3 inches tall. And where this 0 is, again, our green place height, we're going to put at 7. Now, there is 1 millimeter that is stuck inside. So I know sometimes a lot of on these CAD programs, you want to always leave a little bit of the object on top inserted, because otherwise your 3D printer might get confused and just like lightly place it on top, and it's not going to be secured. So we want whatever slicer program we're putting into to actually know it's fully inside, and there's no question about it. So we're going to leave a millimeter inside there. And now we've just got a little bit hanging out top. We've got 2 millimeters. 1 minus 3 is 2. Great. Now we're going to select all this. Select it all. And hit group. Or Control G. Fantastic. I don't want to see the lid anymore, so we're going to hide it. Or actually, sorry, I should unhide everything. Put in my box again. Move that. Unhide everything, and now we're going to hide this. Great. Fantastic. Now we're going to hit our front view. I hit it because I don't want to see it right now because it's going to be in my way. Fantastic. I hit front view so I can look at just the side of this, because now we are going to make a drawer. Hopefully I don't want to make a drawer. Let's see here. So now we get to talk about work planes. Work planes are incredibly helpful, because it would be absolutely terrible if I tried to, I don't know, let me change the color of this heart because this is going to drive me crazy. I know it's a heart, but the block is already. I want to make a hole in here for a little shelf to go, but it's so hard for me to line this up right now that's ridiculous. And sometimes you want a plane that's a tangent line to a circle. So this is ridiculous, which is where our friend, the work plane, comes in. The work plane, if we're hovering over a surface, it's going to, this is our current work plane, this blue work plane is our current work plane. If we stick it onto the front face of this, that's going to be our current work plane. We could even do on the inside, and then we get to make stuff off of there. So we want it coming off of here. It's perpendicular. You all know your math. This is why they make CS students take math. No, it's not true, but pretend it is. Great. Now I'm going to grab my ruler again, and I'm going to set it at the corner of my heart. That way I have something to base all this off of. Come on. Oh, good Lord. Okay, we're going to set it close to the base because I don't know how to fix that very annoying issue. If you can set it perfectly on your corner, great. If you can't, like mine is right now, I don't know what, I don't know. It's close enough. Tinkercad, you don't have to be as exact because it's a little bit finicky. Other CAD programs, you want to be significantly more exact because you have that ability to be more exact. When it's click and drag, it makes it hard. Great. We are going to take a box. I'm going to fix my front view. And we are going to place it at our corner. We can drag and place it, or a lot easier because mice are dumb, we can just set the green lines to 0. Actually, I want the height here to be 2, or the height off of our x-axis to be 2. We'll get to that later. For now, just believe me that we want it at 2. What is the length that I want this box? I want this to be a 10 by 30 by 40, 10 height. Okay, so 10 here on that blue dimension. Width, I'm assuming I meant this is our width. And then depth, we right click and drag around, rotate. And then we have this nice fun blue dimension, this 20. Your dimension line highlights red when you're highlighting over the correct dimension, which is nifty. And I want that to be 40. So this is going to be a box with a hole cut out of the middle. Okay. Now I have a box. Now, just like before, to make something with a hole in the middle, we are going to do Control D with that box selected. And now we have a new box. Let me change the color of it to blue. How fun. Now, I just want a hole that's about, let's see here, 1 millimeter off on a total of 1 millimeter off on either side. But since we have a total of 4 sides and 2 dimensions, we're just going to make it 2 off on either dimension. That makes sense. Cool. So we're going to make that one 38. And then we are going to make this one 28. Then our height one, we can actually leave the same because remember, the height doesn't need to be shorter because we want a little bit sticking up. But before we go any further with this, we are going to select all of it. And we are going to go back up here to a line because we're actually going to use a line this time. Hopefully it's nice to me. Yeah, so these buttons will preview different places that you can align things to. The farthest corner is going to like align it over to that side. So their edges will meet up. There's another form of constraint is having your edges meet up. So we are going to hit this middle one because we want them to be aligned down the middle. And then if we move around, we can see we have a few other constraints. Move around, I can see that. Oh, I have to hit my line button. Okay. This dot is going to just move it forward to the center. Now, we're going to select our blue box only. That's just my blue box, that is. And we actually want this one to be 4 inches up. Or 4 millimeters up. Why do I want it to be 4 millimeters up? Because I don't want to cut out the bottom of my box because that would be a terrible box. So we are going to move it 2 millimeters up from the bottom of the box. And if our box is already sitting 2 millimeters high, well, 2 plus 2 is 4. Fantastic. Now, hopefully, I can make, yeah. Okay. We're not going to make that a hole yet. And we'll tell you why we're not making this a hole yet. Now, we have a shelf, but we do not have a place to put our shelf into our box. We would like it to all be contained. So we are going to make another box. We've already made our heart. That was the easy part. We're spending all our time on boxes. I hope you're having fun. We are going once again, hit Control D. Fantastic. We're going to change the color so I can actually see it because I can't see this right now. And we are going to make it slightly longer on the, not the depth that it goes, or no, we want it to go slightly longer on the depth it goes in. So on, we're going to do X, Y, and Z axes. On our Y axis, we are going to add just like an extra 0.2 because it's going to be sitting completely, let's say 0.1. An extra 0.1 on it. Why only 0.1? That way, because it's going to be sitting flush and we don't want a whole lot of extra room in the back for our shelf to go in. On the other sides, on the side and on our X sides, we're going to add 0.2 because we want a little bit of wiggle room on either side and we want it to be even. So I'm just going to add 0.2. That was just a design choice I made, but you could sand it down and make it a little bit bigger, but this is just so it's printed off a little bit bigger and it's a nice place to store it. So you're not trying to shove in this tiny little box. Great. Where are these? Okay, so I'm on this one. So 30, I said I would just be adding a 0.5. Or sorry, a 0.2. On this one, I said I would be adding a 0.1. And on my height, I said I would add 0.1. Fantastic. Now, I could center this box. That would make sense because that's where we're putting our shelf, but that's an unnecessary step because we are not going to print our shelf inside of our box because that would be funky for a 3D printer to do. And sometimes we have to think a few steps ahead of what our 3D printer wants. So now we're just going to move this shelf. I kind of don't give a crap about where I put it. So I'm just going to click and drag it over. Click and drag it over. Or you can change your green dimensions. Either one, whatever you want. And now, the one thing we do care about is how far back we put it. So on our placement dimension, actually, sorry, on our placement dimension, that tells us how far back it goes, which is this 0, or I can kind of move it out and that. We're going to change this. Well, the length of our little box thing here that we made is 40.1 on its y-axis. So we're going to move it back negative 40.1. If I move it 40.1, it's going to move forward. That's not where I want it. I want it moves back. So you need a negative on your green line, on your green placement line. Green means placement. I should have said that to start with. Great. And now I'm going to change it to a hole. Now it's a hole. And now I'm going to select my entire heart box with the hole. And I am going to hit Control G or the group button. And now I have a box with a hole. And now I can take our little shelf box we made, our red and blue box here, select both parts of that. Or sorry, not both parts. Select the blue part, make that a hole. Select both parts. Please let me just select both parts. And we're going to group them. So we have a hole in our box. Now we're going to add a handle to our box because we don't want to shake it out every time. That would be absurd. So how are we going to do that? You're going to grab another work plane. To delete a work plane, all you do in Tinkercad is add a new one. So we are going to add this to the front face because that makes sense for a handle, I think. If you disagree, go ahead, try out it somewhere else, but it will be an ineffective box. And we are going to hit front so we can see it. Front. And now I am using this shape. This funky blue shape. I don't know what that is called. Round roof. A round roof. Actually, before I select my round roof, allow me to place my ruler back where I want it, which is at the tip of this shelf we made. And I'm also going to hide our heart-shaped box because it is in my way. So Control H makes it go away. I don't want to see it. Now we're going to grab our red roof and we're going to place it somewhere. I'm going to place it over there. Now that's, let's go ahead and center this. So we are going Control Shift, or not Control, just click and Shift to get both of those together and hit Align. You can also hit L for Align. No, I don't like any of those. This is moving them all into very stupid places. Maybe we won't Control Shift L right now. We're just going to move it over. Fantastic. Now we are going to select both of them and we are going to align them. And I want my handle in the center of my box because that made sense to me. Let's see here. AutoCAD is incredible, or not AutoCAD. This is incredibly rude with how it does its things. The lines. Nope. Maybe we won't align it yet. Maybe we'll align that at the end. We'll align it at the end. That's okay. Okay. That's a very large handle and doesn't have a cutout, so we're going to fix that. 20 is honestly pretty good for our width that we've got going on, but 20 is incredibly tall, so let's go ahead and change that to, I don't know, like 2. It's also 10. If we take, it looks great from here. Like that looks like it'll be a great handle. But if we look up at the top, that's kind of long. So we're going to change. Oh, I haven't said how to move. To move, if you are using a mouse, it is the center wheel, and then you just hold it down and you can move your thing around. I have no idea what it is for a lot of the touchpads. Some touchpads are different things, and I could not tell you. So we are going to change the depth that it is to 4. Okay. I feel like you guys be pros at this. We are going to click on our blue roof, Control D. Now we have another thing in there. I'm not going to move it out. And then we are going to make it a little bit smaller. That way, this is going to be the hole for our handle. Let's see here. What do I want it to be at? Let's do 3. 3 on the depth. And we don't have to change its like backwards, or sorry, it's what is that? I don't know. But we're going to change this to 18 or 20, so its length to 18. And I think that should be good. Now we're going to align these two pieces. Since we're already selected on it, we're just going to select hole on it. And we're going to move this around so I can see. Select both of those pieces. Hit align. And we're going to hit it so it's aligned to the center and to the center there. Actually, I want this aligned on the back. Yeah, that makes sense for a handle. So here we had it aligned really high up, but then we also like on the middle x-axis, but we could just have it hit the back of its handle's x-axis is a little bit easier. And then we have it aligned on the middle y. Let's see here. Can I align it on the middle z? It should already be aligned on the middle z. So it is grayed out. Great. Now we're going to do our little fun, select both of them. And since it's already a hole, we're going to group. And wow, we have a hole. And now we have a handle. We're going to move our handle into place. Once again, we don't like things just laying on top of another surface because we don't trust 3D printers. So we are going to move it back. We have it out 4 because it's 4 millimeters long. We are going to move it to 3, so we have 1 millimeter inside. And that is on the, oh, I hit that on the wrong dimension. We are going to move it back on the green dimension, which is over here, -1. If you hit 1, it's going to go forward. That green dimension right now is in relation to our ruler, which is in relation to our work plane. So it's just in relation to our work plane. Great. Now we are going to select our handle, and we are going to select our box, and we are going to align them. We're going to hover over the dots, see what looks best. That looks great to me. And it doesn't need anything else. It's already back 1 millimeter, so it's good. It's set. To get rid of our work plane, we are going to select work plane again. We are going to select anywhere that's not a surface. That just gives us this blue work plane. So not a surface, otherwise we'd be working in something else. Great. Fantastic. Now we are going to hit Control-Shift-H, or we are going to hit the light bulb. Now we can see all of our pieces. We do have, do we have an issue? Yes, we do. If we select on our box, our shelf box, it is up. If you see the screen dimension, it is up 0.71 millimeters. We don't want something floating in midair when we're printing it off. You're going to get an error. It's going to be cranky. Actually, before we change that, we should select our box and our handle, and we should group them so they're all one. Great. 0.701. Make that a 0. Fantastic. I went through that really fast. This is now we can just move our things until they are in a position we like. And we can see all of our things. Should I add a handle to this? I'm going to add a handle really quickly so you can pick this up. I'm going to ungroup this. Select the text, move the text. Oh my God, let me select the text. It is clearly ungrouped. Okay, fine, I won't move the text. Doesn't matter, I just didn't like where it was placed. I'm going to grab a sphere because I want to use a sphere. Sorry, let me make a work plane on the heart lid and add a ruler to, this ruler is supposed to be on the bottom. I messed that up, that's okay. Hold on. Take that back, go back like 2 steps. So we have our work plane on the ground, and we're going to move our ruler over to the tip of our heart thing. We have a fancy little sphere. 20 is way too high, so we are going to make it significantly smaller. How small am I going to make it? Good question. I don't know. 5. That looks too small. 7. And we're going to make it a heck of a lot less wide. So we've got 20 over there. 3. 3 is good. And this is still really tall. That's fine. We are going to rotate it 45 degrees, so it's in line with our heart. That was 51. And we're just going to kind of move it over. And now we can't see it because it's below where our heart is. So we are going to change the green position dimension, and we are going to move it up. So it's what? I made it 7 high. This thing is sitting 8 high. 5. That's too high. No, that's good. So now it's setting up, and we have a little hang. And once again, you're going to select everything on our heart lid. Make sure you don't select the heart box. And we are going to group them. So now we have a heart box. one of the reasons, other reasons, why I had this inner box up. Actually, my is up 15 is because I wanted to give 3 inches of 3 millimeters of space between the bottom of this, I guess, the hole in our box and the top of the hole that we put in. That way, like, there's not just a straight hole to the bottom. And it has some integrity. You don't want to make things like 1 millimeter thick because that's ridiculous for integrity. So yeah, ta-da. And if you want to know a quicker way to do this, hearts are funky shapes. We can search for shapes. Is it going to work? CAD gives you a heart shape. But I thought it would be fun to make it. So that's what we did. Now you have a 3D printable. Oh my God. Oh, I keep hitting Control D thinking it's delete. Go and get rid of those. Fantastic. Now you have a box. You can also add some other fun components to it. You can add notes, but that is all. I don't know how to delete notes, so they've been the bane of my existence. Happy Valentine's Day. Like Valentine's Day. Any questions? Any questions? Nah. Cool. If you have any questions about CAD stuff, I really like CAD. So yeah, my research project is literally CAD stuff, but with very funky shapes that should not be printed in CAD or in anything, but okay, they're fun.